Cheryl, do you agree with both Clark and Reese saying this was a basketball play, or was this flagrant foul bigger than that?
Caitlin and Angel aren't handling this the way that I would handle it.
Fucking with everybody doing all this, waving, turning her back.
Angel Reese got suspended after HR racist attack on Caitlin and her fans. Honestly, no one saw this coming. But let's be real, the league seems tired of Angel Reese's endless drama and has finally decided they've had enough.
This has gotta be a goddamn joke. This has gotta be a joke.
This suspension isn't just a punishment, it's a message from the WNBA that they're done playing referee to her theatrics, no matter how much talent she brings to the court.
Priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech.
Angel Reese has always been a polarizing figure in the WNBA, but her latest antics have divided fans more than ever. So what really went down during the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game? And why is Reese now suspended?
As if, wait a minute, you're getting your butt kicked. Let's settle down. You're getting your butt kicked right now. It was a take foul. You're going to the free throw line to shoot some free throws. Can we just stop? What are we doing here?
The third quarter was supposed to be all about basketball, but Caitlin Clark had other plans.
No, it is a good take foul. I don't have a problem with that at all, neither. That's why I said I agree with a little bit what you're saying, because I don't have a problem with that. But
what started as a hard foul quickly escalated. A shove to Reese's back and a slap on her shooting arm sent Reese crashing to the floor. Was it good defense?
It's a basketball play. And to your point, it's now become the most inflammatory thing that's ever happened in basketball.
Was it a little extra theatrical? Yes, absolutely, because the whole thing seems more like drama and less like a game. The crowd ate it up like it was WWE, not a pro basketball game. And that's when things went sideways. But did Clark just play tough, or did she cross the line? Let's unpack that.
I'm not just talking about the offensive performance from Angel Reese last night. Key word, offensive. That is the only kind of offense that Angel Reese is capable of performing. Offensive offense.
Critics called her play offensive that day. Reese wasn't about to just take a fall and move on. She jumped up, stormed over to Clark, and let her have it. No holding back. Teammates scrambled to separate them, refs blew whistles, and suddenly, the game turned from sport to soap opera.
I have a problem with it being called a flagrant foul. It's a take foul.
Clark got slapped with a flagrant 1 foul. Reese and Aaliyah Boston picked up technicals, and fans were left debating basketball or wrestling. But that was just the start of this drama fest. Why does it always feel like women's sports get the rawest deal when tempers flare?
During the Chicago Sky Indiana Fever game, there was allegedly fans making hateful and racist comments toward Angel Reese during that game.
Enter the fans, because what's a sports scandal without some good old-fashioned fan chaos? Reports surfaced that Indiana Fever fans hurled racist slurs at Angel Reese during and after the game. Yep, they crossed the line once again.
I got no issue with how Angel Reese reacted. Okay. But it's objectively clear she did overreact. I got an issue with everybody overreacting to Angel Reese's overreaction.
And Reese claims this isn't a one-off. This kind of hate has followed her for a while, and in her eyes, it's fueled by Clark's fan base.
Priority. Obviously, there's no place for this, and they preach. I think 2 days before they put out no hate, no speech.
But here's the twist. Reese doesn't accuse Clark herself of racism. In fact, Clark publicly condemned the vile behavior. So, does a statement like that actually fix the problem? Or is it just PR window dressing?
And an entire investigation on the case.
The WNBA did launch an investigation into the fan misconduct. A predictable move.
And we have heard nothing from them. We don't know any evidence that they have found or anything that they didn't find.
But investigations in sports often lead to a statement, a slap on the wrist, or nothing at all. Yes, that's the case here, that days after this investigation, we haven't heard anything from WNBA.
Obviously, the foul, the blowout win, Angel's response, Caitlin's all these things brought us right back to 2023, 24.
Meanwhile, the real fallout hit home with an unexpected twist. Angel Reese got suspended. Yep, one of the league's brightest stars, benched indefinitely by her own team, and this whole thing took us back to 2023. The Chicago Sky called it unprofessional behavior during and after the game. Translation? Reese made the franchise look bad, and now she's paying the price. But was this suspension really about professionalism or just damage control?
Folks in America that had a problem with Angel Reese coming at the chosen one, Caitlin Clark, that way.
White people in America has a serious issue with Angel Ressa, and that girl is proving that she isn't staying silent. She's been vocal about the hate she's endured, and you can bet this suspension isn't sitting well.
At the ref, like, what are we talking about here? We're not calling that. They clip that out. They just go to right here, bang, Caitlin Clark fouls Angel Reese, and then boom, buzzsaw on the internet about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
The public reaction are split as usual. Some say the suspension was justified, others call it overkill. But the WNBA crickets on the suspension itself, despite jumping quickly to investigate the fans. Sounds like a classic case of mixed priorities. Protect the image, but don't ruffle too many feathers.
You are ignoring the history of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Reese has a little bit of a push-off on an offensive board. Obviously, she's great at getting rebounds, incredible underneath. Caitlin Clark says, what the hell is that?
Come on!
Caitlin Clark says, what the hell is that, to the ref? And then she says, and most basketball people say, that's a take foul. Instead of a layup, we're going to make you earn it. I think Angel...
Let's rewind. Reese didn't just hit the floor during that game. She was slammed down by a shove and a slap that left everyone gasping. Clark, known for her sharp shooting and competitive fire, crossed a line that night.
That if it had been anybody else fouling her, she would have reacted the exact same way.
What I'm saying is...
The refs called it a flagrant one, but was that enough for what many saw as outright aggression?
Miss one or both of those free throws instead of getting a wide open layup in that entire thing. Angel was pissed off, thought it was a flagrant.
Reese bounced up with fire in her eyes and confronted Clark head on. If looks could kill, that game would have ended then and there. But let me tell you, if that happened with Caitlin, she could have reacted the same way.
Post from Angel Reese or what I thought was Angel Reese or whatever I got told was Angel Reese about the white girl didn't want any of the fade or something like that. I thought it had to be a mistake.
Clark didn't flinch. Her smirk said, "Bring it on." This wasn't just a rivalry. It was a chess match, each move strategic and bold, and the crowd split down the middle, half roaring for Clark, half defending Reese. But beneath the cheers was something darker. Were the jeers really about basketball or something more sinister?
Deem that to be a bad thing. I love that kind of confrontation. I love that kind of heat.
When Reese confronted Clark, chaos erupted. Teammates rushed in, officials intervened, but the moment was etched in fans' minds. This wasn't about the scoreboard anymore. It was about dominance, pride, and respect. And the aftermath? It blew up far beyond the court.
It is good for the sport at large, but I think a lot of people get turned off. Like, it just always goes into a race thing.
Now, the real ugliness came with the fan fury. Reports emerged of racist slurs hurled at Reese by Indiana Fever fans, a line no one should ever cross. But what's really going on here? Is this just extreme loyalty gone wrong, or is it something more toxic? Clark's fan base is notoriously loud and passionate, sometimes too much so. And when loyalty tips into harassment, where do we draw the line?
What an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment.
Reese's experience highlights a harsh truth. Black female athletes often face scrutiny and abuse far beyond their white peers.
I will say, the issue that I have is Caitlin, if you take that take foul and then you stare her down and then she comes at you, you turn your back, that ain't looking right either, right? I got an issue with that.
Clark condemned the racist attacks publicly, which is commendable, but is it enough? Was she standing up for Reese out of genuine solidarity or damage control to distance herself from the bad optics? Meanwhile, Reese hinted this hostility is systemic, not isolated, a reflection of the ongoing struggle with race in professional sports.
Destroyed. Angel Reese trying to start a fight with Caitlin Clark to deflect the fact that she is getting her ass whipped. I mean, it's on. It is on.
Then came the shocker. Angel Reese was suspended indefinitely by the Chicago Sky. Not for the hard foul or the scuffle, no, for what the team called unprofessional behavior. What exactly does that mean? Was it her fiery response on the court, her outspoken stance against fan abuse? Or was it just easier for the team to throw her under the bus rather than confront the larger mess?
And I have an issue with the way she reacted. I have an issue with the way it's being handled by her, by the Chicago Sky, everybody involved.
Let's call it what it is. A classic case of punishing passion when it becomes inconvenient. Sure, sports thrive on intensity, but only if it fits the acceptable narrative. When a black athlete like Reese expresses that intensity, suddenly it's a problem. The vague, unprofessional label can mean anything, conveniently shifting blame and avoiding the real issues.
Guy, and there was a little scene, you know, because Angel Reese comes out same class, Caitlin Clark comes out same class. A lot of people saying obviously Angel Reese is a massive part of this women's basketball rebirth, which I agree.
And Reese has been uncharacteristically quiet since the suspension. Is she regrouping, strategizing, or just fed up? Knowing her, this silence likely masks a plan to come back stronger. But will the league let her? Or is this just their way of making an example out of her?
I also don't, as much as that was like my visceral reaction, like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think the idea, like RG3's thing about like Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark.
Public opinion is, as always, divided. Some see the suspension as necessary to keep order, others as a blatant scapegoating of a player who dared to speak out. Analysts, fans, even fellow players have weighed in, turning this saga into a lightning rod far bigger than any basketball game should be.
Basketball play, normal play, move on. She admitted it.
Did she act? Did she react like it was?
Meanwhile, the media went into overdrive. Headlines framed Reese as the aggressor and Clark as the innocent victim. Never mind that Clark's foul kicked it all off. The narrative was set, and facts took a backseat.
The media has never
Yeah, I'm
come
talking
for
about
Caitlyn,
the people.
but they've never come for Caitlyn the way they come for Angel.
No, but they wasn't coming from what I'm telling you what happened. It was
Caitlyn's
a
never been the bad guy.
It was a switcheroonie.
On social media, hashtags like #Team Clark and #Stand with Reese exploded, turning the incident into a cultural firestorm. But buried in all this buzz were undeniable racial undertones.
That was inauthentic after the game. She might have said it.
Yeah,
You can tell by the way she said it. She ain't feeling it, right? Right?
See her in the hallways going down.
It's not over.
Zooming out, this controversy is a microcosm of a bigger issue: race and rivalries in women's sports. Remember Serena Williams versus Maria Sharapova? It wasn't just tennis, it was a cultural spectacle. Serena was often painted as intimidating or too emotional, while Sharapova was cast as graceful, despite being outplayed on court. Now swap rackets for basketballs, and you see Reese and Clark caught in the same old narrative trap. The league touts diversity initiatives and anti-hate campaigns, but these often feel like lip service. Real change demands confronting biases baked deep into sports culture. Otherwise, all we do is slap band-aids on a festering wound. And what about the suspension? The Chicago Sky claim it's about professionalism, but throwing a star player under the bus when things get messy screams otherwise. Was it accountability or just a PR stunt? Hit like and subscribe to the channel to know more about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark's controversy.